Honor thy father and thy mother, which that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Oh, so you're supposed to honor your leaders. Honor those over you, especially most principally, or naturally, the family, father and mother. There is a sort of leadership that the mothers are to play in the family, but not over the husband. She is to exemplify leadership over the household when the father is away, and especially over the children, especially when the father's away. And the children are to respect and honor both father and mother.
Oh, so we're not saying that women have no power and no authority, and they should that they just need to say nothing ever, and they have no voice.
Yeah, that's no, we're not saying that.
Yeah,
No,
yeah. If guys, if you were looking for a channel that was going to tell you that you just get to tell your woman to sit down and shut up, and she has no, nah, we're not that channel. Sorry,
no,
guys.
no.
Well, she participates in the authority,
Yeah,
but she does not wield the authority over her husband. She does not have the authority to put her children above her husband, which actually is what happens in a lot of divorces. Oh, the kids come first. No. The first shall be last in that case. If a woman puts her children first, then she's basically using that as an excuse to remove the father and wield her the power of the state, I guess. And then the children will grow up without a father, and the outcome is going to be not good. So, in that case, she's not putting the children first. She's saying that, but she's actually putting her own emotions and her fears and her guilt first and displacing blame and stuff on the father to remove him. And it's rebellion. Rebellion, any type of rebellion, is not good leadership. And that's true of men too. When a man rebels against someone in authority over him, not demonstrating good leadership, and it's destructive.
and so we see these principles, these 10 commandments, the eternal law of God is given not just to Israel, but this was to be the wisdom and the sight of all the nations. This was actually, these principles were in effect even in the Garden of Eden. They didn't just come up out this with this out of nowhere. So there's principles here. The good leaders, especially kings of righteousness, should obey the moral law. And there's principles of leadership here also individually of honor, respect, not coveting, you know, not being a whoremonger, not going after everybody, not taking people's goods, and not lying about everybody. All right. Yep. Oh, there we go. Now, oh, talking about leaders, this is an important one because this shows that a good leader should know the law, should have a moral standard. Deuteronomy chapter 17 says, and starting at verse 14, when thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, and shalt possess it, and shalt dwell therein, and shalt say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about me. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose, one from among thy brethren. Thou shalt set a king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. But he shall not multiply horses to himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt to the end that he should multiply horses. For as much as the Lord hath said unto you, ye shall henceforth return no more that way. Neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that his heart turn not away. neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold. And it shall be, when he sitteth upon the throne of his kingdom, he shall write him a copy of this law in a book out of that which is before the priests, the Levites. And it shall be with him, and he shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear the Lord his God, to keep all the words of this law and these statutes, to do them, that his heart be not lifted up above his brethren, and that he turn not aside from the commandment to the right hand or to the left, to the end that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, he and his children in the midst of Israel. Any comments, guys?
According to the Bible, who was the wisest man, well, in the Bible, maybe that ever lived?
Solomon.
Okay, well, if he had all this wisdom, was he a good leader?
In some ways, but also in
I
ways
would
not.
say
what
not always.
what did he
Not always.
actually do that may have subverted his leadership?
Oh, he ignored this law of God. He made
Which
treaties with the
one?
four nations with he multiplied horses, I think. Well, I know David did, but he multiplied
Well,
wives to
you know,
himself, that his heart not turned.
oh yeah, yeah. So the wisest man that we're talking about right now, his downfall was women, not one woman,
Hundreds.
multiple women.
He had
Hundreds.
Yeah,
1,000
probably.
between wives and concubines. If you
Well,
take Ecclesiastes, yeah.
and Nick, the second half of 17 there. Neither shall he greatly
Yeah.
multiply himself to silver and gold. What were we talking about on Monday?
Ooh,
Oh,
power. Power must be exercised. Otherwise, it has no meaning. And the way you keep score when you have power is by gaining and retaining wealth.
mhm. And look what at the end, that his heart be not lifted up above his brethren. Oh no.
We're talking about this again. Yeah, you don't place yourself, you don't take from yourself to lift yourself over other people. I might have just said that wrong. I'm tired today. But
You don't want to be a tyrant. You don't want to draw all power to yourself and basically squash everybody underneath you at all
Well, if what you
costs.
have is sufficient and even abundant, you don't need to go amassing more and more and more to place yourself above others. Like, look at me. Oh, no, I'm not a millionaire. I don't just have $10 million. I have $100 million. Or I have multiple billions. Isn't that kind of placing yourself above others? I mean, does someone who has $2 million be happier than someone who has $1 billion? Does he live
no,
a better life? You know,
materially.
there are people, okay, materially, no. And there are people who make, what's the average salary in the US for earnings?
655, 56.
Yeah, I was going to say 50-ish.
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of those people are in debt. I understand. But somewhere in there, there's a guy earning 50 that's really happy. The guy earning 70, 80 that's really happy. That if they went up to making 150, would they be any happier? Probably not. I think there's been studies on this. Yeah, there is, with increased wealth or money, yeah, there is some increase in happiness, but beyond a certain point, it makes no difference. It might actually be detrimental.